Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Atletico Madrid Ralf Rangnick press conference reaction. Lots to get into, and I tell you what, I was already excited. I'm really excited now. I think that Rangnick has stoked this game up into even more excitement. I just cannot wait for this game to kick off tomorrow night. He spoke about a hostile crowd who aren't necessarily going to roll out the red carpet for some of our players. I think we know that that's probably going to be aimed at Varane and certainly Ronaldo. He said that Simeone's teams, he's probably the most passionate manager and his team reflects that, and we've got to reflect that as well. So look, the atmosphere in the ground tomorrow is going to be massive. And Atletico Madrid, they've not had a great season, but you know they'll be up for this. It's their chance to try and rescue what's not been a great season for them. So massively looking forward to it. And some really good comments from Rangnick again. And Bruno was sat next to him. And I just want to say as well, in relation to Bruno, he does speak really well. I mean, it's almost made me forget in this whole Maguire-Ronaldo captaincy thing. Probably Bruno should be the captain because he plays all over the pitch. He always creates, he scores goals, he speaks very well. Maybe Bruno should be the captain really long term. Maybe that, especially if you want to keep him at the club. Because I do think that if Pogba goes in the summer, the next player people will be looking to buy from United will be Bruno. And maybe we give him the captaincy. It increases his value anyway, but it also increases the chances that he'll get that signing, that contract signed. But he speaks so well, Bruno. I thought he spoke really well. We'll go through some of his comments anyway. But for me, there's a lot to get into. But I love Rangnick. I love his bluntness in press conferences. And he was asked a question, and as soon as he was asked it, I thought, well, there's a very clear answer here that I thought maybe we won't get. And he just went bang. Basically, he was asked the question, you said that fourth is the priority for Manchester United. Is that the Champions League therefore a distraction, considering teams like Arsenal and Spurs are not playing in the Champions League? To which Rangnick quite rightly came back and said, the Champions League is never a distraction. We want to finish fourth, but when you finish fourth, the reason you want to finish there is because you want to be in the Champions League next year. And we're in the Champions League now. So how can the Champions League now be a distraction? Basically, how can you focus on fourth over the Champions League when fourth place is nothing other than qualification for the Champions League, which we're now in? So, he's absolutely spot on there. But, I said it last night though, getting through to the next, an Arsenal fan said to me they want us to beat Atletico Madrid because they want us to play more games in the Champions League because they see it as an advantage. It may well be an advantage, but you can't go, well, it's a distraction. No way. So yeah, very good answer there from Rangnick. He also spoke about injuries. Edison Cavani has not travelled with the squad. Quite an interesting update on Cavani because we were led to believe that Cavani was back in training last Thursday. Rangnick says that Cavani has not actually trained for 2 weeks. He said he's got a problem with his groin, and as long as he feels he isn't able to sprint, he knows when he can and can't train. So this is Edison Cavani again, in charge of Edison Cavani, which, Rangnick said, look, he's a very experienced player. He knows when he can play and when he can't play. I think Rangnick's absolutely spot on there. And there's two things with Cavani. Either we bought an injury-prone player who is injured a lot and is frustratingly not able to play a lot, which I think is the case, or he can't be asked to play much. I mean, I jokingly tweeted out that, he can't travel tomorrow because he's got a Tesco delivery slot booked tomorrow afternoon and he needs to be at home. But the reality is, the truth is, and I got a lot of stick for this when we bought him, I said we should have got bloody Josh King. And, of course, that was very reactionary and I was very frustrated. It was the transfer window where we hadn't bought Sancho and I was just very pissed off with United. But in hindsight, I was probably right, because where I was coming from is that Cavani's injury record over the last 2 years before we bought him was horrific, and it's not got any better. We have bought a player that is ridiculously injury prone, who does know his body really well, and probably knows if he plays at the moment, he's probably going to do his groin in and be out for 6 or 7 weeks. So he's just ridiculously injury prone. Of course, it's frustrating. I don't think he's avoiding playing games on purpose. Well, of course he's doing it on purpose because I think he thinks he'll get injured. But I don't think he thinks, oh, it's raining or anything like that. I don't fancy it because I think Cavani would have loved to have played in Spain against Atletico Madrid. With the climate, everything, it's a big game. I think he would love to have played in it. So I don't think he's dodging this game. I don't think he's dodging it. I just don't think he thinks he's fit. There we go. So yeah, Bruno was asked about. I'm going to mix between the answers from Bruno and the answers from Cavani. So Bruno was asked about the confidence of the last two games and whether that whether United are playing better because they've won the last two games. And this is why I like Bruno as well, because he just comes out with an honest answer. He says, well, no, we're not. It's not because we're playing better in the last two games. We played really well in other games, but we just didn't get the results. But what we have seen in the last two games is that if you get the confidence of winning, it shows you the rewards of that you're doing, of sticking to the plan. And what he meant by that is that we are not playing much better than we did against Middlesbrough or Southampton, but what we are doing is we're probably putting in a little bit more effort in relation to the more you put in, the more rewards you get. We deservedly drew against Southampton because we were poor in the second half. We deservedly went out of the FA Cup because we were poor in the second half. But against Brighton, we were better in the second half and we won the game. And against Leeds, we were poor at the start of the second half, but we fought to get the win. So I think Bruno's right. I don't think we're playing any better against Leeds or Brighton than we did against Southampton or even Burnley. I just think that we probably learnt a little bit. And Bruno's right. We've had better results, and that gives us the confidence to put that work in more to show that what rewards you get. He was also asked about the squad unity. And asked about the issues there, and he said, "Look, Harry scored, and I ran over to him, banged his head, and said, 'Finally, you've scored with your big head.' People just complaining about a big club. We've got to stick together." This will be post the meeting last week. This will be post of the meeting last week that the players had. There has been major issues in that dressing room for about 6 weeks, pretty much since Christmas. All came to a head last week. There was a big meeting last week amongst the players and the staff, and everybody agreed to get behind everybody and just stick together until the end of the season, and then a lot more issues can be discussed and resolved then. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is never going to be asked the question, is the squad unified? And he's not going to come out and say, well, it is, but there's a couple of players that aren't happy and they keep leaking stuff to the press. He can't say that. He's always going to come out with something positive. But generally what we're hearing at the moment is that the team and the players are really trying hard to just go, look, nobody can leave till the summer. We're going to have to rotate. Everyone's going to get some game time. It's been embarrassing over the last couple of months, the amount of leaks and everything that have been going on, and everybody needs to come together. So I think that is basically what Bruno is reiterating, which is true. The Rangnick was then asked about, is the fighting spirit of the team coming in, talking about the game at the weekend against Leeds. He said it's about getting the right result. You've got to fight to reward yourselves, and we must do it for 90 minutes in the future as well. And again, I think that's Rangnick verifying what Bruno has said, and they've probably had the chat this week, is that we've won 2 games in a row. Confidence is better. Obviously, good results means better things. But the reason we've got those wins is because I don't think we've played for 90 minutes yet, but I think against Southampton and Burnley and other teams, we probably played for about 45 minutes, and then we stopped. I think against Leeds and Brighton, we probably played for about 65 minutes. So there's still more improvement, but the more we play for the longer, the more chances we're going to get the results. He also spoke about Atletico Madrid. Now, this is where my excitement got going a little bit more, because he said, and quite rightly, he said that Atletico Madrid have got a slight advantage because they played on Saturday afternoon, we played on Sunday afternoon. But remember, it's not just 24 hours that they played before us. They're at home, which is an advantage as well. But also, I think that game on Sunday will take a lot out of the players who played 90 minutes. I think that it was a scrappy game at times. There was a lot of physical tackles. The ball was heavy. It was a heavy pitch. There was a lot of effort. You're 2-0 up. You've won the game. You're 2-2. You've got to go and win the game again. So it'd be interesting to see how Rangnick lines up in this game, because he spoke about Atletico Madrid being fresher than us. They're their home team. He spoke about a hostile crowd. I know I did the preview yesterday, but I'd be surprised if he does go with Pogba, Bruno and McTominay as the starting midfield 3. He spoke about fresh legs. We know, he said that, we've got options for fresh legs as well. I think Rashford will start. I think Dalot will start. And obviously Varane will come back in. So that's 3 fresh starters. I'm thinking he might actually go for 4 or 5. And to do that, he's going to have to change his midfield up. And I don't think he'll resist playing Fred in this game. I really think he will try and reunite McFred, which apparently Fred has said he quite likes that name. So big shout out to Beth, because she invented it. Fred has actually said in an interview he likes the name McFred. So there you go. Copyright Beth. She came up with that months ago. So, but look, I do think that we might see them back together. And my issue is I don't think Pogba should be dropped. I don't know about you. I don't think Pogba should be dropped. But he's probably right to solidify that midfield a bit. We're away from home. It's a hostile crowd. And we're probably going to be a bit leggy because of the game on Sunday. So I think bringing Fred in, he's an energetic player anyway. He's got his limitations. He has got his limitations. But he has got the energy. So I think we will see Fred. I'm just wondering how you get Pogba in the team if you bring Fred in, though. Because Sancho's got to start. We assume he's going to... I mean, you could put Pogba on the left and you could put Sancho on the right. That might be a good idea. But then you don't start Rashford with his fresh legs. So we'll have to wait and see. Mark, what do you think about the fact that UEFA is still in talks to change the final location from Russia to elsewhere? Won't be in Wembley as League Two finals are there, says Jaden. We'll talk about that in a minute, Jaden, because Ralph was asked about that anyway. I think it's a little bit political, but we will talk about that in a minute. And he spoke about the fact that it'll be a hostile atmosphere. Ronaldo and obviously Varane, ex-Real Madrid players, they will... And obviously Ronaldo's got his history anyway with Simeone and Atletico Madrid. But absolutely spot on. I said this in the preview last night. Rangnick said it. I'm sure most of you agree with it as well. He said we've got to get the best possible result we can do against Atletico Madrid. But he said this game, in his opinion, will not be resolved in Madrid. It'll be resolved in Manchester at Old Trafford. And that is Beth the Goat, says Mikael Roach. She's over in Madrid for the game, as is Adam. I think Ricky's there as well. So they'll be there doing some content for you. But yeah, I think that this game will be resolved in Old Trafford. I don't see, and look, famous last words, but Rangnick said it as well. So if it, it's not just me. I can see this game being a tight result, a 1-1, maybe a 1-0, maybe a 2-1. But, even if we win 2-1, Atletico Madrid are capable of playing in a way that they could give us a game at Old Trafford. To be honest, with no away goals, I don't think anybody's really spoken about this. And I am playing Twitch today, Mark. It's very exciting. It's the start of a new season. And I've just found another superstar free agent. I think it's a Benzema regen, but it's going to be a very exciting stream just after 3 o'clock on Goldbridge TV. Make sure you tune in for that, United Stand FC. But... the absence of the away goal hasn't been spoken about in any depth by us yet. And I just want to talk about this. The absence of the away goal means that scoring away from home doesn't have the value of it used to. Some people play for clean sheets. I think it's an advantage for a team like Atletico Madrid that are quite tight. But what I really wanted to say was that actually... if we win 2-1, it gives us a bit of an advantage, but how would you approach the home leg? You've already won the tie. Atletico Madrid know they've got to score. Do we automatically go on the back foot a bit? I actually think that in some ways we want that Old Trafford tie to be a game we need to win. Now, obviously, if we win 2 or 3-0 tomorrow night, we're on easy street at Old Trafford. But the merits of a draw are not that bad. If we draw 1-1, there's no away goal. You just beat them at Old Trafford. So... obviously I want us to win tomorrow, but we might be better off with a draw than a 2-1 win, simply because if we've won 2-1, the way we approach the game might be quite different. Whereas if it's a draw, we know we've got to go and win. But look, we'll take it. As long as it's a positive result, we'll take it tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a draw tomorrow, but I wouldn't be surprised if we win, because I think we're better than them. We'll have to wait and see. He spoke about the fourth being the priority, which I've obviously spoken to you about. He was asked about the Champions League final being in Russia. I personally thought this was a political question based around a lot of people's nervousness about the issues in Ukraine and the potential conflicts that could happen between Europe and Russia. I don't think this is a question that Ralph Rangnick should have to answer. And he actually said, look, this is for UEFA and politicians to discuss. The most important thing is that a Champions League game doesn't have any significance to the concerns around what might be happening in Ukraine. But he basically said, look, the final being in I think it's in St. Petersburg, it's too far off for us at the moment anyway, so which is true. Let's win this, says Sakif. He was asked also, this was a good question, is it essential that a club like Manchester United are consistently getting to the last 8 of the Champions League? And I would say, like many of you, when we talk about it at the start of the season, every season, we always talk about, I remember saying at the start of this season and last season, because we were in the Champions League last season, we fell into the Europa League, didn't we? I always say that if you're in the Champions League, for United, we've got to get to the quarterfinals, then anything else is a bonus, but the minimum is a quarterfinal. Because in the quarterfinal, you might pull out a PSG, you might pull out a Man City, you might pull out a Liverpool, and then in which case, you could get knocked out. But I think, you finish top of your group, you get an easier last 16 game, you should always be getting into the quarterfinals. And we didn't manage that last year. We ended up in a Europa League final. So, what's that all about? But this year, I think the minimum expectation at the start of the season was that we would get to the quarterfinal of the Champions League. Now we've pulled out Atletico Madrid, but I think the quarterfinal is what we should be expecting out of this team. And Rangnick said that look, it's true. You've got to be realistic. We're dealing the now. There are reasons that United haven't been consistently getting to the last 8 of the Champions League. In fact, there's reasons why we've not even been in the Champions League some years in recent years, but getting into the last 8, it's all about raising the confidence for the results that we need over the next coming weeks and months, and then obviously looking ahead into the summer. So I think Rangnick can only deal with what Rangnick's got in front of him. I'm sure he's very excited about what is to come, and as are we. But look, you can't disrespect Atletico Madrid. Rangnick spoke about Atletico Madrid, and he said that Simeone has revolutionised Atletico Madrid over the last 11 years. He's given them a clear identity. They've been very successful in this tournament. They've been very successful in general. And he befits the passion of that team. And they cannot be underestimated, Atletico Madrid. So, look, I expect us to come through this tie. I think the advantage of the second leg is being at Old Trafford is huge. I don't think Atletico Madrid are playing particularly well. I don't think La Liga is what some people think it is. And I think the Premier League is the strongest league in the world. So I expect us to come through these games. And I'd be massively disappointed if we don't. But we're not playing Stockport. They wouldn't be in the Champions League anyway, but we're not. We're playing a decent team with a decent manager who are going through a bit of a rough patch. So we do need to be wary, and we do need to be careful. And football has a funny way of biting you in the backside. If we started badly tomorrow, got somebody sent off, it's a dodgy ref, 1-0 could become 2-0, could become 3-0, could become mission impossible. So we have got to be careful tomorrow, and I think Rangnick's very aware of that we've got to match their intensity and we've got to match their passion. And I also think one thing he didn't mention, though, is we've got to be disciplined. If we go toe-to-toe with them in a passionate game at their ground, things could go badly quite quickly. We could lose a player, we could get somebody injured, we could get somebody sent off. I think we've got to be disciplined. I'd rather not go toe-to-toe with Atletico Madrid and it be a high-scoring game where they beat us 3 or 4-1. I'd rather we play a disciplined game and keep it tight, because ultimately Atletico Madrid are not traditionally well known for attacking oppositions. So I agree with Rangnick that this game could be quite easily resolved at Old Trafford, and in some ways a 0-0 or a 1-1 is not a bad result over there. It's a 2-leg game. Suarez probably won't even start, Leatherface. I think he will be on the bench. Will we lose the midfield battle, says Will? I don't really know. I think, Atletico Madrid are not the force they were, but we've seen our midfield lose battles to Norwich. We've seen them lose battles to Newcastle. So how good is that Atletico Madrid midfield going to be? It's always a step into the unknown in the Champions League. You can watch La Liga, you can know it's not as strong as it was, you can know Atletico Madrid are 6th, but when one team goes up against another, you just don't know. You just don't know how they're going to match up. I think if this was Chelsea or Liverpool or Man City against Atletico Madrid, I'd be fully confident that they were going to dispatch them quite comfortably. But, and I will concede this, there's a big difference between Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool and Manchester United. The top 3 in England are very different to the 4th, 5th and 6th club. There is a gap. So it's just how big that gap is, and is our Manchester United still better than most La Liga clubs? I got a bit of stick for saying United would beat Barcelona, but I think that we would. I do think I'm confident we would beat them. I don't think we'd smash them, but I still think we're good enough to beat Barcelona. But we're not playing Barcelona. We're playing Real Madrid. Barcelona are in the Europa League. Boo hoo. Bruno spoke about his respect for Simeone and Atletico. He was basically asked 2 questions in Spanish, I think, and I think he replied in Spanish. And I speak a bit of Spanish, so if you didn't get the translation of Bruno, he basically said that he can't stand playing with McFred. They're rubbish. He should be the captain, And I'm joking. I'm completely joking. I picked up on bits, and he spoke about João Felix, what a good player he is, and he's somebody that United have got to be careful about. And he also spoke of his respect for Atletico Madrid and Simeone. Atletico Madrid are very physical. Yes, they are. I don't really know what Bruno was talking about, a lot of it, but I do know a little bit of Spanish. Rangnick was asked about being back in the Champions League and what it's like to be back in the Champions League. Did he ever think he'd manage in the Champions League again? To which he didn't really answer that question. He just spoke about Simeone and how he's an emotional manager, and his team reflect that. We need to match that emotion and energy in both games. And we've got to be mentally strong, which is that discipline thing. And he's looking forward to playing Simeone for the first time. Bruno was then asked about the systems. Now, this was quite interesting because I knew where this was going to go. So Bruno was asked a direct question about formations of Manchester United. They've played with a few formations. They're now playing with a 4-3-3 with one holding midfielder. We've played with two holding midfielders, obviously, under Ollie. And it was very interesting. Two things that Bruno said in his reply, which were quite interesting. He said, formation chats are for the coach and the staff. They're not for the players. And I wouldn't be happy if the players were not were talking to the manager about formations, because the manager is the manager and we must respect that. And he said that Ralph's done a good job, and we've definitely got more of an identity under Ralph, which I thought was quite a big statement. More of an identity under Ralph is true, more of an identity than the previous manager. And I think, I know there are these. Some people call them Ollie sexuals. I don't know what that's all about. But Ollie sympathisers. And I don't know why there is Ollie sympathisers, because there is more than enough evidence that the players were massively frustrated with the way Ollie was coaching them, certainly this season. Now, they liked him. Everybody likes Ollie. But it was a shambles. The club was a shambles. And people were not happy. And I think Bruno there is another example of that. We have more of an identity under Rangnick, and he's worked really hard. And I think Bruno's very respectful of Rangnick and what he's brought into the club, because the reality is, when you listen to some of the stuff coming out of Old Trafford over the last 3 months, is that the difference between what Rangnick is trying to do and what Ollie was doing is just ridiculous. Like, there's a completely different way of doing it. And obviously Rangnick's way is more about knowing what he's doing. So... yeah, we do have more of an identity, but it was quite a big statement from Bruno to come out and say that. That because it is true. It's definitely true. He also spoke about Ronaldo and Varane, and this is what these players are so used to, winning Champions Leagues, and what a major asset they're going to be. And look, I said yesterday that Cristiano Ronaldo Champions League mode is downloading, but we mustn't forget that Rafael Varane he's won 4 Champions Leagues. I don't want to talk about us winning Champions League, because I think that's massively premature. This is the last 16. Even if we beat Atletico Madrid, you've still got 5 games before you've won it, and you're going to have to play. Even if we beat Atletico Madrid, we're going to have to beat 3 teams, over 2 of them over 2 legs, to win the Champions League. So I think we've got to be realistic in relation to that, and what's going on there. But I think that Ronaldo and Varane are going to be very important. I think we're defensively better when we've got Varane, and Ronaldo in the Champions League is something very different, very, very focused. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Sorry about that. I had to just tell somebody to turn the TV down. Very unselfish. Half term over here. Don't normally have this on a Tuesday afternoon. Normally have a lot more silence. Right. So yeah. What else? And then more of an identity under. And then Ralph Rangnick was asked about manager suitability. The manager suitability for the summer. And again, I don't know why he was asked this question. Got any jobs going, Mark? Says Harris. Yeah, you can come and paint my garage, mate. And manager suitability. Yeah, I don't know what this was all about. A wasted question in many senses, because Rangnick's already asked this question. Basically, they're just trying to get an answer out of Rangnick about the manager in the summer, and he said, "Look, I've said this many times before. This is a question for the summer. We've got to focus on now." and the last 12 games in the Premier League. We've got the Champions League and we've got the Premier League. We've got 12 games in the Premier League and we've got the Champions League for as long as we can make it. So AKA says I miss Van Gaal's press conferences. I don't. I love Rangnick because I think they're really good. But look, there's a wasted question with Rangnick talking to him about transfer targets or the next manager, because he's just focused on the now. I don't think he even knows what role he's got beyond the now. So there's no point in Ralph Rangnick commenting on that, really. But, all in all, I thought it was a good press conference. There was actually, you know what? There was something, I was going to bring this in, and I will bring this in. Don't forget to check the community tab on YouTube, by the way, because on the 7 o'clock show tonight, remember, I'm doing a Champions League watch along for Chelsea versus Lille on That's Football at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to do the 8 o'clock at 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to be going through some of these polls that the Athletic spoke about, which I think are completely ridiculous and have already been proven to be ridiculous. So make sure you vote in our polls on the community tab, because we'll be comparing their results with our results from you, the community, at 7 o'clock. But I was just waiting for the press conference to start today on MUTV, and there was a chat going on between the presenter and the guest, and they were talking about Maguire's goal at the weekend, which I think we all agree was well overdue, not from Harry but from Man United scoring from a corner. 140 corners without a goal. What's your thoughts on Lindelof as a CDM, says FS. Mate, you know what, I don't think that Lindelof is a CDM. I really don't. But I'm here for talking about finding a way for Lindelof in that team. He's never going to play ahead of Varane. He should play ahead of Maguire, in my opinion. I know people disagree, that's fine. But he's never going to play ahead of Maguire, because we've already seen Maguire again is back into that groove of he's the captain, he's undroppable. So I'm really here to find ways of Lindelof playing. Some people have mentioned a back five. I mean, I don't like a back five. If you played a back five and you played Maguire, Lindelof and Varane, I think Maguire would start crying tears of joy, because in a back five he becomes a decent player because he's got so much cover. But you then play Luke Shaw and Delot back five, then you'd play a 5-3-2, so you'd probably play McTominay, Bruno and Pogba, Sancho, Ronaldo. I mean, it might work. You know what, when you think about it, it might actually work, because what you do is you lose your right winger to have an extra defender, and we haven't really got a right winger at the moment, so you could do it. And if Cavani got fit, you could play. But I don't think you get the best out of Sancho in that situation. So I wouldn't like to see us playing a back five. Lindelof as a CDM. I just don't know. I think as average as McTominay is in that position, and as bad as I think Matic is over 90 minutes now, and I don't think Fred's got the ball control for it, I don't know that Lindelof would be a good CDM. I don't know, because when I think of a CDM, you've got to be able to take the ball off the back four, and I don't know. I love you, says King. Thank you very much. And if Man United were to be bought out by intelligent, success-driven owners, what major changes would you like to see them implement first, says Mark Carney. If we were bought by correct owners, I'd expect us to clear house. Board, coaches, recruitment staff, I'd expect it all to get cleared out. I mean, look at what Newcastle have done. They've basically, in no time, they've brought in the technical director from Brighton, who's very good. He's done a great job at Brighton, and he's now working for Newcastle. So that's what intelligent, ambitious, football-focused new owners do. They come in, they sack the crap, and they recruit the best, and that's what we need to do. Love the show, Mark. Thoughts on Rashford? He needs to be in form and less greedy, and if he's playing and is selfish, he should be subbed off, says Reese. I think Marcus Rashford at the moment, and I'm a fan of Rashford, I have done for a while time. I think in relation to Rashford, he's in the right place at the moment, which is the bench. The problem we had under Ollie was this overplaying of underperforming players. And there's no doubt that if Ollie was the coach, we'd still have Rashford starting every game, and Elanga wouldn't even be on the bench. So I think Rashford's in the right place at the moment. I do think his best asset, as was proved by the West Ham goal and the goal against Brentford, is from the bench in the last 20 minutes. Obviously, he didn't get off the bench in the last 20 minutes. It was Elanga. And I think, you know what? I don't know why Rashford didn't get brought on. I would have fancied him to score a couple of goals. Elanga should have got 2, not 1. So the space was there for Rashford to make the impact. And I think that's his best place at the moment, is from the bench for 20 minutes. But I think the long term for Rashford is somewhat confusing. I might be in the minority, I might be in the majority. I firmly believe there's a really good player there. Do I believe there's a world-class player there? Probably not. At his age, probably not. But I don't know how hindered he is by injury. I don't know how hindered he is by whatever is holding him back. He's whatever you think about Rashford, he's definitely not operating at his level. Whatever you think that level is, and you might think very good, top class, world class, superstar, whatever it is, he's below the level you think he is. Because anybody who sits there and says, no, he's exactly at the level I thought he was, come on, he's not. He's better than this. So I don't know how. United have got to put the work in. Rashford's got to put the work in. But at the moment, we are not in a situation where we can just keep playing him. So for me, he's in the right position right now. It might be a problem for the summer. It might be he needs a clean summer where there's no international football for him. Hopefully he wouldn't be part of the England squad anyway because he's not playing particularly well. Clear summer. He's clearly a lad who, looks after his fitness and comes back next season, new manager. That may be the answer for Rashford, and we get what we can out of him in the last few weeks and months. I did say in the preview, I wouldn't be surprised if he did something big tomorrow. I feel like, Maguire did it at the weekend. Who's the next worst player over the last few weeks? It probably is Rashford. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did something, but I don't know whether we're going to get the answer on Rashford anytime soon. Even if he comes back in the team and scores for a few goals, we know he's done that in the past. What we need is a consistent Marcus Rashford, and we may have to wait till next season for that. But look, he's an asset, and I think he's underperforming at the moment. I think he can do better. Lindelof is good on the ball for a centre-back, but not good enough to play in the midfield. No more square pegs in round holes, said Nick Warren. I tend to agree with you on that, Nick. And actually, I forgot to say, I was listening to MUTV before the press conference. And this, I just wanted to call it out, really, not in a massive, MUTV are crap and this, that, and the other. Make your own mind up about that. They are run by the club, but they basically were talking about Maguire, and they said that the criticism was unjust, and the fans seemed to pick on one individual. And I just thought, I'm going to mention it because I think it's completely wrong. This fan base definitely doesn't just pick on one individual. I was talking about this yesterday. Look at the hate De Gea's getting at the moment. I don't even understand it. Ronaldo gets it. McTominay gets it. Fred gets it. Maguire gets it. Rashford gets it. Even Bruno gets it. So I don't think one player just gets picked upon. And definitely not, I have to call this out, it is not unjust criticism. I know it's MUTV and that's owned by Manchester United, but this, I feel, is just criticism. You as a football club create this because you overinflate results and performances and make out that they're superstars, and then when they play at their normal level, they get criticised again. Maybe if you keep it on the down low and stop trying to turn average players into world-class players, then they wouldn't get the criticism or the unjust criticism that you seem to think is unjust. At the end of the day, you create this criticism because you overinflate the performances with your constant social media barrage of positivity as soon as we get one good result. The criticism of this team is completely just, not unjust. We are fighting for fourth when we were meant to be fighting for a title, and we've not played particularly well. Any criticism these players have had in relation to their playing performance is 100% justified. So, don't try and take a result against Leeds where somebody scored and try and make it out that that's the reason look, the criticism's been unjust. This is why, United are such a yo-yo club, and it's led by our social media and owners because they have to cling on to any little positivity, and as soon as you get one positive result, they try and erase 10. Oh, look, we beat Leeds and and Maguire scored a goal and such played well. Therefore, the previous 10 crap performances mean nothing because we've won this one game. Surely a Manchester United TV channel can operate in a way that isn't calling players out for being crap, but is open-eyed and sincere enough in the modern world to be able to say, look, you know what? Performances of late have not been that good, but that was a great performance against Leeds, and they'll take confidence from that. To say the criticism was unjust before, it's just bloody ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I, for one, am tired of this. It's like these polls we had this morning. It's like Tim Sherwood at the weekend talking about Varane. It's like United talking about unjust criticism. This dangerous new media where they're basically lying but trying to make it gospel is dangerous because people are too intelligent for it these days, especially in football. Harris says he's concerned with his PR to almost a crazy level. His post of him and his girlfriend after the Mason stuff epitomises this, in my opinion, says Harris Sharif. I don't know who he's talking about there. And how about winning the Champions League in a lucky way? Good or bad for the few further development regarding Premier League titles, says Ramo. Mate, I don't think we're going to win the Premier League anytime soon anyway. So I will take a Champions League lucky or unlucky, as I'm sure many of you would. I mean, look, we haven't won the Champions League in 14 years. We won the Champions League in 68. And the next time we won it was in 99. So 29 years. We then won it again 9 years later. And we're now 14 years apart. You know, some would say that winning the Champions League is easier for United than winning the Premier League, because I think over 38 games we'll get found out. But I think the Champions League is a massive tournament. Man City would rather win the Champions League than the Premier League because they've won the Premier League and they've never won the Champions League. Manchester United, I think we'd rather win the Premier League than the Champions League because we've not won the Premier League for a long time, but would definitely take the Champions League. Liverpool, I think they'd rather win the league this year than the Champions League because they want to win the league. So they're both the biggest prizes you can win if you are a Manchester United, a Liverpool, or a Man City, or a Chelsea. Look, the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, they're nowhere near, are they? So, or the Europa League. So I would take this. I would take the Champions League any day. I don't think we're going to win it. And as I said yesterday, I think it's really important that we expect not to win it because we don't want to put pressure on this team. The worst thing that happens with this United team is expectation. We should have won the Europa League and we bottled it. We should have won many semi-finals recently and we've bottled it. So we are on our biggest period without a trophy since 1985. I think 1985 we won the FA Cup and then we won the FA Cup in 1990. We went 5 years without a trophy. I think we're north of that now. So God knows what the last gap was. But if anybody knows the answer to that, by the way, let me know, because I think we're on our biggest... I don't know what the biggest period is United have been without a trophy in their history, but we're heading towards that now. Wait, Mark, we won the Champions League in 08. Yep, 14 years ago, Marky. Can you not do your maths? 14 years ago. That's what I said. I said 14 years. What are you all arguing about? Yeah, 08 to 2022 is 14 years. I might have gone back on it and said it was different, but my first statement was 14 years, so I don't know what people are talking about. Let's not get dragged down in that anyway. Mark's looking sharp, says Harry. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. But look, yeah, I'd love us to win the Champions League, but we're not going to win the Champions League because we beat Atletico Madrid. We'll win the Champions League because we get... Look, if we can get through Atletico Madrid and we can get an easy-ish, won't be easy anyway, but easy-ish quarter-final, semi-final, get the best one we can get, final, who knows. But you could get through Atletico Madrid, you could end up playing Man City, you could end up playing Liverpool, you could end up playing Chelsea, you could end up playing Bayern Munich. And if you get through one of those, you could end up playing Liverpool, Man City, or Bayern Munich in the semi-final. So it's going to be very difficult. Whatever I look at, whether we're in it or not, I think every year, the last 8 of the Champions League, the quarterfinals look like they could be the final. Like, a lot of the times that happens. So it's a very difficult trophy. It's a very difficult trophy to win. I don't think we can win it, and I don't think we should. I don't think we should get excited about winning it. I think we should just be excited to be in the tournament. Let's hang about in it as long as we can. Let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, definitely. Being Ricky says we need to win the Champions League. I don't think we should have that expectation. I really don't. I don't think that we should. But if you want to, it's down to you, isn't it? Okay, right. I'm going to be live on Twitch in about 20 minutes with TUSFC. I've unearthed a couple of absolute brilliant free agents, so I'm looking forward to it. Join me on Twitch, Goldbridge TV at 3. But thanks everyone for watching. We're live at 7 o'clock tonight because it's not an 8 o'clock show because I'm doing Chelsea versus Lille on That's Football as a watch along. But look, we're working towards United tomorrow. Absolutely cannot wait. This is the Goldbridge style Logan. You know, you have a shaved line down there as you're parting, 2 back and sides, bit of length on the top. Call it a side parting. I think it's better than that. But look, Do icon swaps live? I don't even know what that is. You have to tell me on Twitch. I'm massively looking forward to this game. This could be our only European away game this season. You know, this could be the last one. So let's enjoy it. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you at 7 on here. Don't forget to go to the community tab and do the poll votes, because that's going to be really important for the 7 o'clock show. And I'll speak to you all in a little bit. 3 o'clock on Twitch. It's going to be a big stream there. Thanks for